the life we live is going to be with a lot of problems. We cannot say like all the coping strategies can be learned in 3 months of therapy. There might be a new problem which arises where I might not know how to cope up with it. So I go back to my therapist, discuss about the coping strategy, or sometimes I cope it up by myself also. That is there. The awareness about therapy itself is coming now. No, the awareness about follow-up also has to be given more.
Yeah.
So you started saying that you have clients who are 8 years old and they still follow up with you on certain few areas that they wanted to work on. Imagine tomorrow if somebody is building a AI tool that can actually do this job for people.
They've already started.
I don't know. AI is at a very initial level, so it might not work right now because it involves more of an emotional support. So down the line, if somebody wants to get a message from a friend, and will that friend become an AI?
Maybe a friend can be replaced by an AI.
But we already had friends, but then that was replaced by therapist. Now, will that be again replaced by AI?
No, see, therapist will be therapist as such, okay? Again, I wouldn't say your friends have replaced, or therapists have replaced your friends. Your friends are still friends. But the way you handle your friends, the equation that you have with your friends have changed a bit. You've gone for problems to the therapist. You haven't completely taken like the whole thing. Your friends are still friends. You still hang out with them. You still go for a coffee with them. You still enjoy that, but you can't do that to the therapist, right? So over here, I would not say that AI would take the place of therapist, but the human touch is what is very important in terms of therapy. And that's what we believe in terms of our mind and company.
So I've done a lot of research on this AI to see how much of AI we can bring into the company. One thing I've learned is you can't cry to an AI first. They're not going to reciprocate. I wouldn't feel like crying to an AI. But will AI replace therapist? You'll have to wait and see. But now we're looking to see if we can use AI to help us do the therapy better. So there's one company which reached out saying, in a therapy session, along with the therapist, let the AI also participate and make notes for the therapy session. So it'll help therapist. It'll give more value addition to the therapist. So if therapists put in their notes into an AI tool, the AI will also interpret the emotions of the client, and the therapist also will have their own thought, and then they make a conclusion. So it's more of, can AI help in making therapy better than AI replacing therapy?
So I have a client basically. So after every session, he sends me the notes of whatever we said, and he said that he uses an AI to generate these notes. So I thought, okay, tell me, suggest me. I would say other clients also to follow it. Then he said, no, it's a paid version that he uses, and it's not available for everyone. Then I was like, fine, okay, maybe AI can make therapy a little easy in terms of taking notes and all that. Definitely, it will not help in terms of understanding your emotions. It will theoretically understand, okay, Arvind is crying from this time to this time, and so long he cried about this issue, and Karthik spoke about this, and Priya spoke about this.
Emotional quotient, it might be not possible for AI to understand you, empathize
with you.
But I'm just trying to understand, if I have a problem, say for example, I got stuck at this, or I go through this problem, what is the solution? If I can ask this to an AI tool, will AI tool give me a solution?
Yeah, you have, there are few AI
There are
tools
so
already.
many companies already invested a lot of money to make this happen. So it's still in the process of development. So I think, I may be wrong, but in few years it can come out there. So
see, if you have a problem, you're stuck in a place, you don't know what to do. This is what my wife did, this is what my mother did, I don't know how to handle this, what do I do? You ask that, AI will give you answer. It's giving you answer. In therapy, we are not giving you answer. We are making you to facilitating you to seek your own solution. That is what the difference is. Solution is already there with an AI, but over here, I am making you to think for the solution. That is what the difference is.
I think somewhere between a friend and a therapist, I think AI will play a role here.
Maybe.
Could be.
Okay. So tell us about the technologies that you use in Mind and Company.
Yeah. So currently at the Mind and Company, we have a website which is fully automated. People can go to the website, browse through the therapist they want and book a session. They can log in, and once they book a session, everything is automated. The links are sent to the client and therapist. Therapists have their own management portal. Clients have their own login portal where you can cancel, reschedule sessions, look at your sessions. This is where it is currently there. And now we're looking to scale this in a much more, like, we want to make it a more tech health startup, tech mental health startup. So where we're trying to build an app with a lot of tech into it, a community, and we want to build, bring in a lot of AI, bring in games with mental health. We're trying to bring in VR also, VR, how it can help in many use cases. Instead of having a therapy session over a Zoom call, the day where people start adopting VR, have a therapy session in VR.
Mm.
So the environment is much better. So offline session is of course better than an online session, but a session in VR could be in between where you can create an environment. So there is time, but we are looking to go on the technology side to scale.
I just wanted to understand, you are trying to implement a lot of technology in place today,
Yes,
but
yes.
how was it when you started it?
Everything was manual. Like the first initial bookings we got was the client used to message on Instagram. Then we used to send him a payment link or a Google Pay link. Then he pays, and then we used to send the link to them out and the therapist. It was very manual. But today it's automated. The process of you booking a session and getting the link is automated. But still there is still a lot of manual part involved, where which therapist should I go to? Like how does this process work? They still ask us. They feel like you talk to somebody on WhatsApp, or you call and then they go to the website. So today it's half. There is technology and manual intervention involved. We want to make it fully tech, but we don't want to lose the human touch.
Exactly.
The human touch will always be there at the Mind and Company.
Is that the USP of Mind and Company?
Yes, one of the USPs at the moment is there is going to be a human touch always along with technology. So using technology to automate routine tasks, but the human touch of you talking to somebody on call or WhatsApp will always be there, because you know there's someone you can reach out to for help.
Before we close the session,
Yes.
I have a set of light questions
Yes,
because it
yes,
was
absolutely.
the topic. The conversation was very intense. Let's start with the company's name.
Okay.
How did you come up with the name?
So the Mind and Company came up when you're going through a tough time, which part of your body goes through a tough time? The first thing,
Mind.
the mind. Your mind needs some company. That's why it's the Mind and Company.
Nice. How do you approach success, or how should one approach success?
So I think success is a continuous thing. It's not like a goal where you have milestones and you keep going towards it. So I think for me, at least for us, the Mind and Company is more of making a value add. So for us, the success, when the end success, I would say, is today when you think of brands, like let's say for food delivery, you have Zomato. For cab booking, you have Uber. But today, if you ask people around in India, which brand comes to your mind when you think of mental health, there are not many companies that people can recollect and tell people. So that's what we want to be. We want to deliver a mental health experience, and the Mind and Company wants to be there. So that's how that's success for us.
Can you tell from a very individual perspective, how should someone consider success, or how should someone handle success?
See, basically, success is a process. Okay, so my goal or something that I want to become. For example, I would say if mental health is normalized, that would be my success. Okay, so it's a process. It's not just going to be involved by me or something. So the moment mental health becomes normalized, how am I going to look at things around me? How am I going to handle things around me also matters. So again, the success or failure or whatever is just like the moment. It's you.
Exactly.
It keeps your mental health good. It makes you feel good. Obviously, if someone gets a success, they're very happy. They enjoy the process, and it's that. Over there, you know that your emotions are high, your emotions are good, you enjoy the process and start going back and being into your normal life. That sleep, appetite, ADL, whatever your routine is, do the same thing. Your success is not going to take you anywhere else from this normal routine of yours. Be whatever you are, as well as just enjoy the success and come back to it.
It's like being down to earth, even if you go there.
Your mental health shouldn't be too much elevated because of your success, nor your failure should disappoint you so much about your success, your failure, whatever. So both are processes. These are different emotions. So that is what we call something as an emotional stability. A failure or a success, I treat it better. I am emotionally stable. So I would say, like for an example, cricket. We all say Captain Cool and all that. We don't say that. We cannot say that he is not a person who will never get angry. We have seen Captain Cool getting angry and all that. Probably he's a little more emotionally stable.
How he copes
knows,
with it.
Exactly. He knows how to handle his emotions. That's when the success and failure are treated equally. When you know how to handle your emotions, probably you treat them both equally.
Can you tell more about this? How to approach this? How should I keep my emotional at a stable place? How do I
Okay,
have it?
that becomes that's part of therapy.
Yeah. So instant, if you can give instant.
You can share a few things over there.
Okay, so basically, first you have to know you're emotional. Okay, the identification of emotions itself is not there. Someone comes and asks you when you're angry, Arvind, are you angry? Arvind, are you angry? Arvind, are you angry? Fifth time, Arvind, are you angry? What do?
I'll get angry.
Yes, I'm angry, get lost. That is what will come from your end, right? But that it's, or you also say, no, I'm not angry, get lost. So there, you're telling that you're not angry, but you're expressing your anger. And you're not aware that you're angry also.
Mm.
So the awareness itself is not there about our emotions. That's why I say start it from school, learn about emotions, know about emotions. Probably now it's too difficult for us to get back to school, but at least now we have to understand what emotions we are going through, acknowledge the emotions, express the emotion in a better way, that emotions are different from a person whom I am. It's a part of me. So you see, today we see a lot of movies, and we Indians, or I would even say South Asians, or we very culturally people, we associate a lot with emotions. You see this Tamil films with a lot of Amma sentiment, Appa sentiment, Tanguchi sentiment, all that works here a lot because we are emotional. You do the same movie in a Western culture, it doesn't work because they cannot relate it with the emotion, because they look at a problem of an emotion is an emotional disturbance, and this is me. But we are like too much together. That's why we blame ourselves. Ayo, my life has become this way. Ayo, this is happening to me. So I relate a lot of my emotional disturbance with myself. So first, what you have to do is look at your problem. It's an emotional disturbance, and understand what emotion it is. Most of the time, we don't even understand what emotion it is. There's something called primary and secondary emotion. We get confused in both those emotions and we do it. And after understanding the emotions, acknowledge that you're that way. So for example, before a podcast, I was a little anxious. If I was like, no, I'm confident, I'm fine, or whatever, my emotions are not addressed over there, it's suppressed. So what happens? My anxiety will come back to me and say, I'm stronger than you, and it will make me fumble. I acknowledge, yeah, I'm anxious, but still there's a part of a conversation which is going to be normal. So once my emotion is acknowledged itself, it reduces. So in that process, again, my emotional understanding and acknowledgement should be every now and then. I have to deal with it, and I have to also express it if it's required. For example, I'm angry about something, I'm angry with you about something. I have to express it to you without bothering you or without triggering you emotionally. So that's something very important. So I understand my emotions. I verbalize my emotions, and I vent it out. That's how it works.
Can you tell more about these emotions? What are the primary and the secondary emotions that you are mentioning about?
Okay, so basically what happens is you're walking in the road, and you're driving a bike or whatever. You see someone coming and falling suddenly. What basically happens over there? What emotion comes first in you?
I might be a bit afraid
Okay,
or has
okay.
a fear.
No, I'll be a little more clear over here. Okay, you are right. You're wearing a helmet, you're carrying a license, you're listening to the traffic rules, everything from your side, it's fine. But this person suddenly comes and falls in between, who is completely wrong. Okay, so immediately what happens?
Scared and anger.
Okay, so but mostly what we do, we do not express our fear, we only express our anger over there to take over the control of the situation. So over there, your primary emotion is fear, which is not addressed. But your secondary emotion is addressed, and you deal with that. And what happens? You shout at him, he shouts at you. It becomes a big conversation over there, and over there, it's a fighting process happening. Rather, the fear over there is not addressed. The moment you go into an uncomfortable situation, we are human beings who first come up with fear. Right? So that is what basically happens.
In a situation like that, which you just quoted, I also fear that if I be more nice to the person, they might take an advantage of it. So that's why I also try to express the anger, right? So just to show that I'm dominant at the situation, how should one approach this? Because there is a good chance that the person might take over from there if I don't do it, and then that becomes a completely upset over there. So to avoid that, I'm showing my anger.
Okay.
So in a normal situation, how do I handle that?
So basically what happens over here is, this is where you have to understand your emotions, that you're scared, and first acknowledge that to yourself. Okay, Arvind, I got scared because of this incident. Let me handle it. And then go over there and start an assertive communication, not an aggressive communication. Okay? I understand you were this person who made this mistake, and that's what has happened, and my bike is also damaged, I am also damaged, and start an assertive communication. See if this person is also being assertive. If you are going to be a little sweet to this person, they'll become dominant.
I think it's more like if both of them educated about emotions, then both of them wouldn't take the anger.
That is a long way to go, right? Because even as the most smallest case, if the other person understands what they go through, they might not be more repulsive. And if that person is not being repulsive, I will not be either as well.
So it's very easy. Don't trigger their emotions. The moment you start scolding them, you're triggering their emotions. Don't do that. Instead, talk assertively about the incident that happened and tell him that he was wrong. And it's human tendency to make errors, right?
So to
acknowledge
do
them.
that, I'll have to be more aware of the situation.
Yes, and also you have to take a little more therapy to understand the whole process because it's like in this
Got it.
lesser time I'm not able to put everything together.
Totally got
But
it.
it's a longer process.
So again, another question: mind, heart. Which one to follow? Brain or heart?
Okay, so tell me, what is brain, what is heart? Both are organs of a body, right?
Mhm. That's the question as well. So
Yeah.
which
Which one to follow?
which actually functions in these conditions?
Okay, both are functioning in their own way and both have different functions completely. Heart is an organ which only...
Does heart take any decision?
Definitely not. Heart is only an organ that pumps blood. It has nothing. It has 4 chambers. It has the vessels and all that. All biology people will know
Yes.
it much more clearly. But it doesn't do anything related to your thoughts. Mind or whatever is here inside your head, in the brain, where your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, everything is controlled. That is where your emotions are also controlled. As I told you, your emotions and intelligence are 2 different ways of reacting to a situation. So, for example, imagine the same scenario of this bike accident. Okay, so you look at it in an emotional perspective. You're angry. You're scared and you become angry and you talk. But you want a solution for it. You intellectually plan over there. You'll see what I have to do. Why this? How do I solve this? So the solution oriented is more intellectual thinking. So, for example, you're doing something. You're working on a project, or you're doing a Sudoku, or someone from behind is actually scolding you. What, Arvind, you don't know this also, you can't do this also. You'll not even bother because your intelligence is completely on. But you're idle and someone says, what, Arvind, you don't know this also. You immediately get triggered, right? You immediately process that. So that is when your emotions start working and your intelligence becomes zero. When your emotions are high, that's when it's very difficult for you to plan and do. That's where we call something called as emotional stability. So it's not heart and brain, it's emotions and intelligence. That's how we have to talk from now.
So what about when they say gut feeling? The second brain is in your gut. So what about that?
See, that's probably ESP, a lot of extrasensory things that we try to understand, we try to judge, we try to...
It's more of a belief or like gut feeling, I'll do this.
Yeah, we say, no,
Some experience that comes or...
Let me answer that
Sure.
for him. So gut is your second brain because
yeah.
it, through the function, it is the one. The gut is the one which keeps you more healthy in the physical terms. If your gut is upset, you cannot think.
Correct. Exactly.
That is why they say it's the gut feeling. But then, if the gut is in a very active and a right position, right state, it becomes more easier for you to think.
Got it.
That's why they say.
Second brain,
that's something that I again learned it from a recent podcast that I was listening to.
Got it.
But that's what they
nice.
mean. But then, whatever you were saying, that brain and heart is a completely different organs that has its own primary functions to work on. So let me also ask it from a very layman perspective, Karthik. How do you also went through therapies to understand more about yourself and being more self-aware? How should one hack their brain without a therapy?
Leaving therapy aside, I think there are a lot of other tools. Meditation, yoga, or self-exploration. But I think in therapy also, you do suggest people to try meditation or yoga. So it's spirituality. So I think understanding more about yourself takes time. So I haven't been able to do it. So that's why I took therapy. So
are you saying that therapy is necessary to be more self-aware?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
How should one deal with burnouts?
I think breaks. So I know when I'm going to get a burnout. It's not like it happens a day, but I know I'm getting close to a burnout. So when I don't feel like working and also I sometimes tend to work 20 hours a day for 4-5 days. But the best thing is to take breaks. So what I started doing earlier was work for 10 days, 18 to 20 hours a day, and then take 2 days fully off. Burnouts kept increasing. Then my therapist told me, no, don't do that. She said, in a day, take breaks every day instead of taking it like don't pile up. So now what I started doing is I keep my work to like 12 to 14 hours a day and I take breaks every day. So instead of taking 10 hours or 2 days break, I take 1-2 hours break every day. So it's very important to manage it. Like I got very close to a burnout, but I've handled it now. So
how should one handle burnout from a therapist point of view?
See, be aware of what you're doing, okay? Don't overdo anything and push yourself in. See, for example, I can work 8 hours a day. I can work only 8 hours a day. For my performance to increase, probably I can use some skills or learn some skills and do it in 8 hours. And if my target is, or like my normal potential is only 8 hours, I shouldn't push myself for 10 hours or 12 hours. And that is when the burnout thing starts. When I am going to a discomfort to work about something, that's when my discomfort starts. So I'm pushing myself into an area which I'm not comfortable with. So don't push yourself first. Be very, see, I know all of us want to be success in life. All of us want to run the race. All of us want to win the cup and all that. But how much are we enjoying the process? Right, that matters a lot. So 8 hours a day's work also someone can actually achieve success, and 12 hours a day's work also. It's how much you do in that 8 hours, how much you plan about the 8 hours, what you do with the 8 hours. But you ask me to work early in the morning, I will never work. I cannot. My sessions only start at 11 o'clock or at least 10 o'clock. Before that, I cannot do it. Thing is, I cannot wake up early or whatever. But my pattern is that way. My body is set that way. I've been used to this so many years, and suddenly everything is going to change, and I'm going to become very curious and learn new arts and new things, and suddenly start at 6 a.m. in the morning. My body will not cooperate, and that itself will be a discomfort for me. Maybe if I'm a person who enjoys waking up at 6 a.m., I'll enjoy doing the work. If I'm not a person who would like doing it, then don't push yourself into uncomfortable situations. Squeeze yourself and try running for the success. Because in that process itself, you will not run the full race. I've had a lot of burnout. I'm not able to do, and you'll stop and you'll quit in between. The process that you want to do, you want to achieve something, make sure that it's smooth, make sure that it's comfortable for you, make sure that you are enjoying it. And there are also situations where people say that, you know what, I did not sleep for so many days. I was working for so many days. That's definitely not a very proud statement to say. It's something that you are not taking care of your health. A human brain needs 8 hours of rest. Even during sleep, our brain is working, right? But at least the thoughts and these things are shut at that point. If not, it's going to be working all the time. So probably you need to give enough of breaks for your brain. Sleep well, eat well, do your routine well, enjoy the process, have time for yourself, do things that you really enjoy doing. For example, be a psychologist, be a IT person, whatever. I like walking in the road. Like I like walking in the park. I like walking do it. Enjoy it. And we human beings are, I believe in this, that we all developed from monkeys, and we were more connected with nature and all that. So probably we connect with nature. There's a lot of change that we go through. There are so many situations where we just sit and watch the sea. It gives us a lot of calmness. There are other things this way which can actually elevate your mental health. But I wouldn't say this is enough to take care of your mental health. They can help you in understanding the...
To summarize, I think what Priya is saying is like to enjoy the process. And it's easy to say for her, but Dhoni says that enjoy the process and trust on the process. But how do you do that? Therapy can help. So not easy to do it. Not easy to implement, but that's the right way.
Exactly.
So it took me years, but now I do enjoy my process. Yeah.
Okay. So how about time management? So does time management play a role in staying away from burnouts?
Definitely, yes. That's what I said, right? Like you can work for 8 hours, plan what you're going to prioritize, plan what you're going to delegate. There's something called priority matrix. Okay, this is a part of therapy that I'm discussing here.
You can just tell us what it is. Probably you can take it if people are more interested to learn about it.
Okay, so no, then let's start it over here. Okay, so probably we have to know what we have to prioritize, what we have to delegate, what we have to give for others to do, what we can give responsibilities, where we can do. So the work reduces. So for example, when Karthik started, he was the only person who was booking sessions through Zoom.
I was doing A to Z. Every single work of mine and company I was doing, but now we're a team of 80. So slowly I started delegating work, building systems and process. And I think any company to scale, you need to build systems, and that comes with like time management is very important.
We have a booking team now. If anything goes wrong, we can tell the booking team, they'll take care of it. So that's completely not into his control, or he's not just monitoring every day and all that. It's all automated.
And that's something I've learned from big mentors like Zoho, and like I learned from companies like how they do it. That's my inspiration. So there's no shortcut to it.
Yeah, that prioritizing and delegating and taking up responsibility, and like and there is something where that we do a lot of things which we are not supposed to do. We waste a lot of time on certain things. So how to reduce that? That also I think I learned a lot from Karthik, in that he shuts himself into the pod, no?
Yeah.
And he works there for 8 hours where he's completely disconnected with the outer world. So something that's really important, because when we are like away from phone, or when we are away from other external Instagram or other distractions, it's probably worth it of putting our productivity there.
Find out when you peak in your productivity. For me, nights are when I'm productive. So night when I work for 3 hours, I do 5 times more work than what I can do in the morning. So I balance it like that.
So do you regularly work in the night?
Yes, and now I do, but I'm trying to reduce it. But that's my,
Won't that have an impact on his
But he
health?
sleeps in the day.
No,
Sometimes.
there is a rhythm, circadian rhythm, which makes you to follow the day and night. If that gets disturbed, it also has an impact on the health, is what I have heard. I'm not
that's
a
very much
professional.
true. I used to work till 4-5 a.m., but I've now brought it down to 1 a.m. So what my therapist told me was, you're tuned to work more in the night and productive because you're doing it for so long. So she said, slowly start shifting it into your daytime. So it's not a day, like she told, you're sleeping at 5 a.m., bring it to 3, bring it to 2, bring it to 1. So now I sleep at around 12 or 1. Slowly I'll be shifting it, and like I try to find my peak productivity during the day.
Also, this happens, but there are people who are actually productive in the night only. And we have day shifts, night shifts, all
He's
that.
asking, is it like affecting the health? Like now temporarily it works, but does it have a long-term impact? I believe yes, it does.
That's the question as well, because shift workers, they tend to work, they have to work, there is no choice. But I hear to Andrew Huberman podcast, who is the best neurologist in the world, who says that even if you're a night shift worker, you will have to train your brain to take that light exposure in the night
sunrise to sunset is very important.
Very important. So all those things, that's what I wanted to understand. Let's talk about happiness. What is your path to happiness? If you both can handle the questions individually.
Path to happiness is, I think again, like you said, it's not an end result. Like when I cleared my CA, I was happy. That was a peak of happiness for about a week. But again, it's back to normalcy. So happiness, are you contented? Are you satisfied doing what I'm doing? For me, if you ask me on a personal definition, earlier when I was in a job, waking up on a Monday felt stressful. I feel like, oh, weekend is over, again back to work. But now I don't feel it. So for me, like every day feels the same. So I don't have a weekend or a weekday. So for me, I'm happy on most days. Of course, there are days where I don't feel good, but I know how to cope with it.
So for me, happiness is just an emotion. So I know to handle it. I know to look at it better. Even a chocolate or a coffee can make me happy.
Small things.
We cannot actually say that I want to be happy in my life. The term is never going to be there. At least maybe I can have a term say I should be a little peaceful in my life. That's a little better in terms of happiness. But happiness is, I would say, like it's a luxurious emotion that someone gets. Not all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like how much you find happiness and how you do it.
It's not going to be 24/7.
Exactly. It's a part. It's an emotion. That's all. It's going to be there for some time. Enjoy it for that moment and then just go
then
back.
I'll ask this question: how to be peaceful at work?
Balance.
You'll have to ask your boss.
Okay, I didn't expect that answer. But anyways, so
balance what you're doing well, no? See, you enjoying your work, if you're having the harmony at the workplace, if you're having good relationship at workplace, and you're like finding it curious day by day, you're finding it curious to do it, then obviously you're happy at work.
I think the work environment and colleagues around you matters a lot. So like good work atmosphere is very important.
And your interest towards your work also matters a lot.
Yeah. I was working in a place, I don't want to name the company of course, where it was my convocation day, getting my CA certificate day, where I was asked to come to work. But I denied. Like I worked 5 years to get that certificate in front of my parents. But I was asked to come to work that day. I denied and it did create issue later. So but some other company, it was very friendly. So I think the work environment where you work is very important. That's why I said the culture, your boss and the company matters a lot.
Yeah, we are blessed with that.
Yes, very much. Yeah. I know so much. I draw inspiration from what Zohar is. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So last question. How important is physical health in the mental health journey? If a client reaches to you, do you recommend them to be more physically active and healthy?
Definitely.
Very much.
Yeah, definitely. See, for example, I have a client with emotional difficulties and everything is sorted out, and this client is not sleeping for 8 hours a day and not eating properly and having a lot of outside food, which is causing a lot of health issues. Definitely, I have to work on that also.
So my therapist tells me go work out every day, at least 1 hour, and go exercise. Not like gym, at least go walk or do some kind of physical activity. It's very important. Like you have to sweat it out. I can't always be in an AC room 24/7. You'll have to sweat. That's very important.
And also I have clients who have difficulties in exposing how they look. The self-esteem comes over there. I'm looking big. I've been shamed this way and all that. So again, work on your physical health.
So you were saying the gut health matters, right? So how do you keep your gut health fine? Only when you're physically active and eat.
So I personally enjoy working also. I was not like this before. I used to be an overweight person, and then I started concentrating more on my physical health. which paved a way for my peace, I would say, because whenever I go for a 1 hour walk outside, I would feel much better. My thought process, my thinking gets better when I walk, and I'm able to make better decisions when I walk. So I feel physical health is very interconnected with mental health. As you said, physical and mental health together forms health.
So my question to you is, how did you, I mean, like, I think most people face this challenge, like you overcome it. In your busy schedule, people say, I don't find time to work
Thanks
out.
to COVID.
Okay.
So yeah, when I was during COVID time, I didn't have much work to do.
Okay.
I was still working from home for Zoho. So at that point in time is when I started realizing that I should not continue the same way how I used to be before. Not in terms of physical appearance. Of course, there is a point on the physical appearance as well. But then from a health perspective, I should not gain more weight was the first thought I had. Then during COVID, I had a lot of time and I didn't know what else to do. So I started doing a lot of physical activity with the given space constraints. That's how it triggered in, and I started enjoying the process. Whenever I go for a walk, I enjoy. And when I do that, I know the benefits of it, and then I continue doing.
So I think once you start working out, nothing, you're not going to stop.
It's just one brick wall that is before you. Once you break it, you will go.
Same way. Therapy, once you start and come into it, you'll know, like, same thing.
Closing thoughts. If somebody wants to become an entrepreneur, what would be your advice to them?
The only advice I would say is start. Even if you make mistakes and fail, it's okay. But just go out there and do it. Because so many people I meet, they say, I have ideas. I thought of this like 5-10 years back or thing, but I haven't been able to execute. Today, I think there are so many tools. Just go and start doing it. Even if the idea is not worth it, but when you start doing it, you'll learn, okay, this is not validated, this may not work, but only you'll know it when you do it. So just go do it. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks. So how should one take care of the health, physical and mental together?
So as you said, take care of your physical and mental health together. Also start from your body, start from sleeping properly, eating properly, doing good workouts, like concentrating on your body also. And in terms of your mental health, in terms of that, take care of your thoughts, take care of your emotions. Somewhere if your emotions are drastically making you feel bad and you're complaining or something, immediately go talk about it to someone, vent out your emotions. And there's something like in our culture that we don't talk a lot of negative emotions outside. We keep it to ourselves. And that is also very difficult for people. That's why people start getting a lot of physical ailments at earlier age, like 40, 50, they get heart attack, and even before that they get heart attack and all that, because they don't talk about, they don't vent out what they want to. So it's okay, when people judge you, people talk badly about you, that's fine. They're going to forget it and they're going to walk out. Verbalize what you feel. Pour it outside. Don't keep it within yourself. Don't have a lot of bottles. Anytime that you want to empty a bottle, immediately do it.
When she's talking about bottles, I want to ask, like, let's say, correct me if I'm wrong, when people go through trouble, I would say drugs and alcohol is a temporary solution and therapy is like a permanent one. Can I say that's right?
Yes, probably yes. See, again, we are here not to talk about against the drug or alcohol
but I'm saying,
or smoking. It's all personal choices, but don't replace it with therapy, because that happens very often over here in our community, as well as like men associate that very easily, because as I told you, men have restriction in venting out their emotions. They can't go cry, okay? They can't go scream, they can't go do things a lot. But when they're intoxicated with alcohol, they are free to do everything. So it's easier for them to go to a friend or something. It's easier for them to have a drink and vent it out rather to go to a therapist. So your drinking or smoking or whatever pattern should never replace your therapy.
I think alcohol or any kind of a drug is easily available for people to consume.
The accessibility.
Accessibility is much more easier for that. But then, of course, the long game is much better with the therapy. So it is better to go open it up, and instead of consuming drugs and then trying to mess up with everything.
And that affects the whole thing, the physical health as well.
Sure. Nice talking to you. It was a very intense conversation. I really thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Hope you had that too as well.
Same here. We do enjoy the process, the way we spoke and the intense conversation.
Nice. Thank you.